So that's what we like to see. Starting off with a good shot into the middle of the green. Hi guys, I'm Alistair Taylor, down here at Lytham Golf Academy, and today we're going to talk about the correct height of tee to strike your iron shots the best you can. So that first one that I hit there was actually off the floor, and I think what most guys find is because they practice a lot off the floor, generally speaking, they get quite used to how they strike the shot well. And if we look at that last shot, we can see that the strike was very, very slightly towards the heel, but in that kind of bottom third of the club face. So it's not halfway up the face, but just slightly low on the face. So the big thing for me is how the irons are designed, and when you look at the back of an iron, you know, the majority of the mass of the club is down in that kind of bottom half, bottom third. So that's where all the kind of mass is behind the golf ball, and the danger is if we hit it too low, we don't get the performance from the club head, and if we hit it too high, equally we don't get that performance. So I'm going to use some different height tees and show you kind of maybe how you deliver the club differently and how the contact on the face will affect how far the ball goes. So that flag's set at 180 yards. I think that one flew about 172 through the air. And just for this purpose, I'm going to use the little Castle tees. So I've got the 4 different colours. I've got green, red, blue and white. So I'm going to start with the green. We're going to hit a shot into the green, have a look where the strike point is on the club face, and then as we use the different height tees, see how that affects the performance of the shot. So I think when I put the green tee into the floor, it's just sat a tiny bit off the floor, almost sat a little bit like a fluffy lie would be, maybe slight bit of semi-rough. And I think for a lot of guys, they quite like when the ball just sits up a touch. So I think it's very easy for me to just make the same kind of swing on this one, and I would expect my strike point to be fairly similar. So it certainly looked like it just took off a little bit higher, turning over a touch. Yardage looked very similar. So let's have a look at the strike point and how the club was delivered and see what the very low tee did for us. So we can see from the yardage there, kind of lost 3 yards. Club head speed was very similar, ball speed was very similar. Kind of launch angle was a little bit higher, which that's what it looked like. And if we look at the contact point, it was very, very central, but again, in that similar kind of bottom third of the club face. And we can see from there a really good transfer of kind of club head to ball speed. So we're going to go a little bit higher now onto the red tee. And I think this is probably what I see a lot of guys who use the Castle tees tend to be red or maybe even blue with their irons, but we'll go again with the red. Now instantly for me, this looks like the ball looks like it's a lot higher on the club face at address. So I'm going to, like I said, try and make a similar swing as I can. I think that just turning over a little bit more. Still felt very solid. It's going to go those extra few yards, but that still felt a good strike. So again, let's go back, look at the contact point on the face and see what the red tee changed from green. So we've got a few more yards. Again, club face was a little bit more closed. Club head speed was the same. Ball speed actually went up a little bit there. And we see still very central, just a fraction higher on the club face, but certainly showing more ball speed with the club face being closed. Still a nice solid contact. Now, if I look there, I hit down 1.3 degrees, whereas compared to off the floor, I was down 2.4. And on the green tee, I was actually up very, very slightly. So definitely, even though I'm not trying to change how I deliver the golf club, certainly by where the ball looks like it sits against the face, I'm not hitting down as much as I would when the ball's on the floor. So now we'll go blue tee. So again, higher still. And as I sit the club behind the ball here, undoubtedly this is going to look even higher on the face. Yeah, I mean that actually looks like it would hit kind of top half of the face. So let's try and make, again, a similar swing as I can. Now that felt much higher off the face. Accuracy wise has been pretty good, but we've started to see a drop off in distance. So that one only carried 157, where the others have been much more out at 170. So again, let's look how the tee height has affected my ability to strike the ball in the same place on the club face. So we can see there 156 carry, 163. So a decent drop off. Club head speed was the same, but we lost a big amount. I mean, 11 mile an hour against the blue tee, but even 6 mile an hour against off the floor or the green. So we look at that, fractionally towards the toe, but noticeably higher on the face. I've still managed to hit down very, very slightly, but we can see there as that contact point goes up the face, I'm losing speed. Okay, and the final one for this little test is we're going to go white tee. Now, certainly for me, that looks incredibly high. And that actually looks like I could literally go right underneath that and not even touch the golf ball. Now, I think for a lot of guys though, they tend to want to tee the ball in the air because they feel that they can pick the ball. Maybe that would count for you if you struggle a little bit on the floor. But I've got other videos about how to kind of hit your irons pure from the floor. But let's have a go at this one. Big, big high tee. And again, let's try and make a similar swing as possible. That felt incredibly high off the club face. And we can see that's gone almost nowhere. 116 yard carry. So we can see there, massive drop off in distance. Again, let's go back, let's look at that strike point and see how much of a drop off we see with such a small change in contact point. So we can see that last one, 116 yard carry. So I mean a massive drop off from that 170. Club head speed still just under that 90 mile an hour. Ball speed 90 mile an hour. So that's almost coming off like I'd expect a wedge to come off, or a sand wedge. We look at the contact point. Yes, it's fractionally towards the toe, but very, very high on the face. So there's just no massive club head behind the ball in order to transfer that energy from club to ball. So guys, we can see there a massive difference. Even though the tee heights are only changing very incrementally, we can see a big increase in the difference of where we're able to hit it on the club face, and therefore a big decrease in how that ball speed comes off the club, and ultimately how far the ball travels. Now, I think there, even in the first 2 or 3 colours, I think the ball speed was still pretty good. So I think a lot of that will then come down to a little bit of preference. For me personally, particularly with a short iron, I almost feel like I want to hit the ball off the floor. I wouldn't suggest doing that because when you get to put it on a tee, it's the one time you get to guarantee your lie. So for me, I'd go just kind of a little green tee if I was using the Castle tees. Like I said, it almost looks like it's sat on the floor, but just a slightly fluffier lie. Looks like I can really hit that out of the part of the club face I want, and then literally all I've got to do is stand up and make a swing. Now just turning over a little bit more than I want, but again I can see even though that's to the left of the green, my distance control's good. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. I mean, for me, a lot gets mentioned about how high driver should be teed, but I do think the height with tee irons gets neglected. And generally speaking, I see guys teeing the ball too high, and that's that ability then to deliver the club how you're looking to and strike the ball out of the middle of the club face. Next time you go and play though, just tinker a little bit with those tee heights, try a little bit lower, try a little bit higher, and see which one gives you the most consistency for your game and gives you ultimately the most consistency in distance that you're looking to hit each club. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it, comment below, let me know if it's helped. Subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.